there any updates?
Anything that.
All right.
Oh, yeah, yeah, so we're Anna, we're taking for opportunity.
Is the Instagram on here and everything? It's all on. Oh wow. Okay, so that's cool. People joining.
Party thoughts, people were,
Get me the invite link for that. Please.
I think that's very exciting, yeah. I'm later, think I'll hide it. That would be from 5 to 7. They bring it to interview.
So the link is to copy, so it should just be on your phone.
Good, Paul. Oh, yeah. During that, something very funny. Oh, yeah. That is Robert. Oh, yes, I don't. I've heard so we are feeling something like
No, he does.
Thank you. Over here. Thank you.
You're actually southwest of Patagonia, so down the coast, about 6 miles in. The greatest Croatia vermin. It only grows there.
You have it recorded?
Very Croatia is locally for Chirello.
Plug it in for a second, see if it
A grape that only
get to the jump start.
Yeah.
Put that, can you turn this around on my little, this so face,
So
maybe it should face inwards and be not rubbed against the surface. So on the same side, just turn it the other way. So it's language.
Then a guy, they don't know the name of, so he's from a family of like farmers, like not just wine, but you know.
Yeah.
Names like the family was the grandmother. And yeah.
Where's the whole time to search them down? One more time. Let's get it too. Right, on this side. There we go. Is that a order? Yeah, that'll work.
Women names, planning, some of the war valley, but lost everything lost. And so it looks down.
So we already live.
And found a.
Wait for- Wait for artists.
And
These watermelon.
Yeah. But you know, love down there.
Like,
Also, you know. Mediterranean.
Yeah, just that work. Okay. So yeah, time to upgrade it. I saw some nice ones, that same effect on Amazon.
let's do Central.
So
Um,
it's all right.
you don't like that? Well, you're- I really think I should, because now I am in the position of having to keep up my shots.
Right here at the bottom.
This new, weird survives this week.
All right, so the computer,
Not good audio.
where's the computer getting audio? Where's
Not gonna, the computer's not gonna have good audio. I'll put one of these and use it to get audio from here, but it won't be having good audio.
give here?
Huh?
Try that other one.
This one is just being on when there's, I don't know what's wrong with it, just stop being.
I love, I mean, for some, like, with our red line, I from them.
It went
But
roll.
I-
Okay, so we'll have audio from this right here. And all right. And we
Now-
mute, we have to mute one.
I'll go, well, I need you to connect it to this first.
Yeah.
And make Facebook. I think we did on. Yeah.
Not yet.
Grab that. Okay. Yeah, we're good. Click. I'm gonna need you to.
Oh, you did.
The skateboard.
You did. You said you.
Not go outside, anything back there.
Okay, you guys better get it down.
Press the bottom. Start. Press that button on the bottom. All right, we're recording now. Been off an hour.
You go outside and just.
Got it.
Okay. No, so test. Yes, we don't have to like really project. Yeah, one setup in the aftermath is going to be really good out of the way, but the live thing which is always like crazy. Like, yeah. Can you hear me? Yeah, so that we should be getting it right now. We could be good. What you got? So it's good? Okay, cool. All right, so let's rock it. So
Yeah.
what's going on, everybody? How you doing? My name is James. We're coming to you live from the historic Lower East Side here at the High Note Cafe. Hip Hop High Notes. So we highlight artists, people who inspire, people who have stories to tell, that they feel open enough to share with us. And tonight we have a very special guest. She's yeah, it's artists.
Not like that, but if we basically had like, break everything apart, we need to.
Sometimes the artists might not have some kind of connection with face or proximity. But she's there, filling that void for a lot of them. And today we can hear more about her story. So today we're here with Hip Hop Congress after this. Black poet is so surviving. Otherwise known as Milo. How you doing, Milo? How you doing? You know, baby, got the baby on the house. Been new, everything has been very new. Happy to be here. While I'm out, come out and have you a conversation with you. So how long have you been? I think the whole weekend. I mean, you're born into what we're born into. You might not have a raise right away. You might not have a self we are living it now. I got to that's good. And when did you come up with the name? Like like Lewis, philosophy.
I thought it was naming for a lot of fun.
It didn't come from a particular philosophy. It was just one day I woke up and I started thinking about it's time to change. It was time to transform. And Black came to me. At first, he didn't represent the color of Black, but then it became happening for being light and creating consciousness. That's what Black is. The lotus. And lotus is a flower that blooms through the mud. So whatever is on it, it's good, looks out, and it's beautiful. And I thought that was really great. The Black and the lotus together just the work.
So where are you originally from?
I am from Harlem world. Harlem all day long. My home.
Yeah, and is that where you still live there now?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, so like how was Harlem? How was Harlem?
Wow. Harlem was hard, but it was flavorful. You know, we had our flavor. People came uptown to marinate and ponder life uptown, you know, because part of them they didn't understand and they wanted to belong because they felt that energy. It was slightly revolutionary, but it was more about having fun, you know, learning about things and being community. That was the most important thing about home is being community. And some of that's been simply the gentrification. That's not big.
And like When you were coming up in Harlem, was there a lot of like art scene, how it is now?
Oh my goodness. Oh, we had all of the old places. We had Linux Lounge and Hoopins and people like that. And it was just live music everywhere, on the street, in the clubs, you know. And we had a lot of the artists stayed next to our community. So even when they so-called made it, they still would come back and show us love. So they became our family. That's why we love our artists so much. That's why we love the Apollo so much, because everybody that went through the Apollo came back home. They never forgot us, you know, 125. It was just a sense of community, and yes, full of arts. I mean, we're known for it. You know, Harlem is known for all types of artistry, all types of media, everything. We've been stomping since day one.
Yeah. And so what was it like the night, like, so when you were like, you would go out, like, what would that be like? Like, would it be like, on the main streets that we know now? Or was it like some little small places in the pocket, or like, you know, like what?
It was like a little bit of both. You know, we used to go, oh my God, I'm dating myself, to the tunnel, that's the whole, it used to be called the Red Parrot, and I forgot what it's upgraded to, but anyway, we used to go to the mainstream clubs, and then there was always this little hole in the walls after, you know, after parties and things like that, and we would have house parties. I don't know if anybody in the audience can identify with the house party. We used to call them rent parties.
Yes.
And so, like, we would have the music, and you would go into somebody's apartment, you get a plate of food, you would get a J, and we call them J's. You get a J, they give you a cup of wine, Boone's Farm. If anybody remembers that, you let me know. And that was chill mode, and that was like for $3. So we would go out to clubs, but we also would be in homes. Like I said, it was more community, trusting each other. You know, and that's how we shared our arts.
I imagine it's like really good family.
Ooh, I'll tell you, my favorite decade is the 70s, although I was little. The 80s, we know we had all kinds of punk rock looks like with Jody Watley, Madonna, like that, you know. They brought some major things out in fashion. The 70s is my personal, because it's something so funky and groovy about the 70s. It was so laid back, major chill vibe, and a sexy too. And I don't know how to describe it. It was the bomb in the 70s. The 80s was wonderful. 90s was great, very innovative, grunge like whatever, or you know, extra fancy. 2000s, after that, I kind of lost focus. I'm sorry.
And was stuff like more affordable, like based off of like, you know, when you were earning back then?
Well, I would say so, but you still have to struggle. Like you have to work, you know, and so we had inflation in the 70s and 80s, you know, then the recession. Oh, you know, it's just always been like, we gotta survive. We gotta do what we gotta do. It doesn't matter what comes. We're gonna make it. That's my generation X, y'all. We were taught to survive and pull ourselves up by the bootstraps and make it happen. Like, no matter, like, we used to have a saying, we made $1 for 15 cents. Because you had to. We were very innovative and ingenuitive back then. Like, you know, you could feed a family of 4 with a box of spaghetti and half a pound of ground meat and a loaf of bread. Got 5 or 6 people covered, because everybody understood that even though they only got a little bit, they got something. And it was better than nothing. So we shared, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So we would all pitch in. So yeah, it was a struggle then too, but when you have people in your corner and they got you, it makes it better. Like the pain is not so painful, if that makes any sense. Because I have you and you have me.
Wow. Were you were you outspoken back then?
Yeah.
I was outspoken. When I was younger, they called it something different back then. When we were outspoken back then, we were not in a child's place.
Right.
And people would say, oh, she's so grown. That's what they would tell my mother. Oh, she's so grown. And I'm like, what do you mean grown? Oh, and it took me a while to understand that, like, I had like an understanding, overstanding, and understanding
Yeah.
things that were maybe not on my level. Like that, you know, like it was above me in an upward and outward way, if that makes any sense. So even grown people weren't on that level, some of the grown people. And I'm not saying that to disrespect them, you know, to call them condescending. But what it is that children can see sometimes where adults cannot see, because when you are a child, your mind is open and free. It's not prejudice, it's not bias. You have to be taught that. So when you're a child, you believe in the boogeyman because he's really there. Because you can see him, where the adults have lost the ability to see the boogeyman. You know, and because your imagination closes down as your spirit becomes more inundated with life and becoming an adult and taking care of us. You know? So I was outspoken. I was outspoken, but in a quiet way. If that makes any sense. You know what I mean? Like I spoke, but it still had to be, you know, within the context of remember who you talk to. No matter how intelligent you are, you're still a child. If that makes sense. So, yeah, I was outspoken. Can't you tell?
And was the older generation, were they understanding of the change in times in the culture at that time?
Well, I just think every generation is probably like the next one. You know, like if the dinosaurs knew they were leaving, they would have fought, right? The ice age. You know what I mean? Like, hell no, I'm not going. And I'm telling you, I'm not going, you know. So I think that every generation feels like this sense of becoming extinct. You know, the generation before me, you know, giving a succession to us, they were very tired, you know, the baby boomers, you know, and they were passing on to us the strength to be on our own. Like we really literally had to take care of ourselves, you know. So, but that doesn't mean they didn't have resentment of like, yeah, but you know, better you than me. Because I'm like, all right, let y'all take over. That's okay. I think every generation has that feeling of this, you know, being displaced and becoming, you know, extinct like dinosaurs. You know? So some people might have opened it and embraced it, and then some people were like, nah, man, I'm still the OG. And, you know, I'm still that OG, and my generation is like that too. We're still the OGs in our mind and in our heart and spirits. We're the OGs. We paved the road. We bled and was punished and was ostracized, isolated, so that the next generation behind us wouldn't have it that way. We were the ones that pulled ourselves up by the bootstraps, so that we could teach our children that they could take it a little bit easier. But remember that we still were a product of our parents. So even though I was a little less like my mom was to my daughter, still was my mother's daughter. Does that make any sense? Yeah, and sometimes people forget that. So they're like, you don't have an excuse. I'm like, yeah. You gotta understand where we came from. You know, we didn't come from that coddling. Our parents wasn't really holding us that much. And I'm not gonna speak for everybody, but a lot of people in my generation can identify with it. You know, go outside and play till the light gets on. And then you get back inside and you good. I just want you to be outside. So I can have a little peace, you know, and that's what we did. You know, but that was also kind of like isolating, because it's like, okay, my parent doesn't even want to hang with me. You know what I mean? But that's okay. You know, and we learned to be self-sufficient and self-sustainable. we knew how to get our snacks if we didn't have any money. Not necessarily stealing, y'all. I'm not condoning thievery, but all I'm saying is that we just knew how to survive, we knew how to stretch. We got, you know, whatever, if we got attention, we were grateful for it. We got special people who were grateful for it. People are grateful, full of gratitude and not happy. So.
That's it. The guy.
Memories.
Wow. So did you do any traveling around,
If you want to hang out with.
around like the country back then?
When I was young, I didn't do a lot of traveling when I was very, very young. I didn't start traveling to like maybe my 20s and 30s. That's where I started moving, which was my dream.
Yeah. Where'd you go?
Well, I've been to Florida. I've been to Texas, actually lived in Texas for a while. I've been to Atlanta. What else have I been? Pretty much local like that, Virginia, South Carolina, you know, went away to vacation there. To Myrtle Beach, who hasn't been to Myrtle Beach, you know, and all the black places. And but my dream was to travel. That's what I wanted to be. When people ask me what did I want to be when I was a kid, I wanted to be a nomad. I wanted to travel the world and learn about different cultures, different people. And I wanted to journal and write books. That was my original thing. That's what I wanted to do.
So that means you thought about living outside of New York City more or less.
I was not living anywhere. I was gonna be a nomad. It was like, I'm gonna stay here for like a month. I'm out. I never envisioned having an apartment. Because that wasn't what I wanted to do. I didn't want to stay still. I have the wanderlust in my brain.
I'm excited.
Wow. So do you plan to like to start it? Like to like retire into like traveling lifestyle?
Yes, I would love to do that. Right now, I have my scared daughter. I have to make sure that she's good.
Yeah.
You know, I can't go gallivanting all over the place, you know. I let you go with more, you know, which is actually a good idea when I think about it. Because I could actually take certification, do homeschooling or high school, and just have to come under the Board of Ed guidelines. And actually, that's okay, I'm on my way, I'm on my way. That was a great idea. Because I want to travel, I do, and I don't want to do it when somebody has to take me. I don't want to go traveling in a wheelchair. I'm not gonna be in a wheelchair, so I don't want anybody to get offended. I'm saying, while I'm still able to take care of myself, I want to be able to do it myself. That's all I'm saying. You know, whoever has to do whatever, bless you if you're in a wheelchair but you're alive. That's all that matters. You're alive. You gotta do. But what I'm saying is, I'm not in one. Hopefully, I'll never end up in one. Blessings to all the ones who are in one. And in fact, y'all can contact me. We'll all travel together. Wheelchairs or not, I don't even know.
You know, it's programs that are like paid to like live somewhere else to like.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Is
plenty
that
of
like the
them.
Peace Corps? Not the Peace Corps, it's like somewhere else.
It's like some stuff where I think they just trying to spread it around, you know, and they just, you know, but imagine like how the city is and go out there and or like somewhere where there's not that many people anyway, like some little town where there's no one there anyway, and then that kid wanted to go and live, and the parents like, well, we're gonna go live over here. So now nobody's in those little hometowns, like those little occupied buildings, and nobody's living there. So they kind of would like some people to come there and like give it life again. You know, and so they'll pay you to do it.
Wow, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
That's excellent. Don't give me no ideas.
All
It might not take me much of a push.
Yeah. I think it should be something that people think more often. To me, when I'm out there, like, you know, I feel like that's something that I definitely kind of propagate in my home. Like I kind of like I spread that. That's something I'm promoting. I'm promoting. Yeah. You never live in the same place. Go somewhere else, and you know, there's a lot of people who don't like that as far as in the world, like you, as far as like whatever you want to look at the races and classes and like you know, patriotism. But I think at the same time, there's a lot of places where you can have a good experience, you know, with someone else.
I'm all for it. Like that would be a dream. That would absolutely be a dream to be able to travel and see other places, how other people live and eat their food from their soil. Like a lot of people don't understand. When I say I want to eat something authentic, I mean I want to eat something from the very place that grew that particular root. If I eat Indian food, I want curry from India. I don't want the ingredients from America. I'm not in America, but the soil is different in every place of the planet. And that's why sometimes it's hard for us to duplicate things because we have to have the exact tools. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
You know, to get that taste, to get that flavor, sabor. You need to have the authenticity. So when I go somewhere and eat something and drink something, they say it's from a certain place, I want it to be. The people's hands came from the place, the food came out of the soil of the place, the spices, everything has to be from that place. Then I know I'm getting the real deal and I can enjoy it. I'm just that person.
Yeah. So when did you start writing poetry?
I started writing when I was about 14, 15. Oh, maybe younger than that. Because when I used to take classes in school, when I would finish the class, I would get bored and I would turn the paper over and I would start writing and doing. I would say like maybe 13 years old. I used to do that. One time I turned in a test paper with the poem on the back and I forgot. And the teacher actually graded the poem and the test. It was like, you need to be doing this. This is you. You know, I was like, okay. You know, for me, it was nothing. I was just pouring out my heart and just writing down my thoughts. It wasn't like it was something spectacular. I didn't write it for heart. I wrote something down. You know, when you're not so aware yet, you don't see your gifts and you don't see the blessings yet. So I would say like 13. I was going to take a year off after. It's about 13. Because I remember vividly writing it red on the back on a long piece of what they call rexograph paper. You don't even know that. Y'all don't know what rexograph paper is. The rexograph is how they used to take copies. And it used to have a smell. It was like, I don't know how to describe it. It just smelled good. You know what I'm saying? And I was writing in red. I would never forget red. And she actually rated it. I couldn't believe it. Wow, that's people see you and you don't see me.
And so, did you just from the beginning start off sharing it with other people? Like, you know, that was like the first time you ever shared one. So like how after that, did you like start going to open mics or?
Oh, no. No, I didn't do that. I didn't start seeing anything like that until I met my youngest daughter. Because he's an MC. So he's amazing. Like, you know, he's an amazing MC, a lyricist, a poet, a writer. He's real, you know. And by admiring him, that started making me realize I had something in me. And that was the first time I ever did a freestyle. And it was never intended to be a freestyle because I didn't do that. Like I wasn't an MC, I wasn't a rapper, I never performed anything. And I had done something, well, not with him, he was recording one day, and his friend allowed me to do something, freestyle, for like over an hour. And we didn't record it. And I was like, you guys didn't record that? Because I didn't even know where it came from, like I was possessed or something, in a good way. Because I don't even know where it came from. I was great. Because it was almost like I was in a trance. I was in a trance with the music. You know, I spoke to the music and I beat, and I was like, okay, and the words just flowed out of me. You know, like sunshine beams, you know, it's like, like that. I don't know if I'm describing that. Is that okay? I'm describing that? And I didn't touch it again. I never did that again. And that was one of the dopest moments in life to know that I should be. You have to go other routes sometimes, you know, you have to go around. Sometimes around again until you get there.
That always, that was the thing. I had very few moments when I actually was able to capture that, where, you know, everything kind of like untapped, like you just like tapping into it and you start to go out and you say all these different things, you know, habits and you know, a lot of times when you goes out to the world, you always think about that, you know, making, you know, so you recording or, you know, even the next level or trying to sell it or like, you know, make it work. Yeah, so have you ever been like into music? Are you into music?
Yeah. Well, now, Joe, and you know, so far it's been, open mic. My ambition is for professional, you know, stage, crowds, and then get a couple of ducks. It would be that would be a great night. Yeah. And now, yeah, I do my spoken word. Sometimes I do a little rap, I throw my kids out, you know, I'm getting my yeah. And they're wonderful. Like I got my fans right here in the yeah. And the collective, and Richmond, and you guys also open that door for me. It's just been an amazing journey since then. Like I don't have to describe it. It's been like layers of layers and just going up and up. Like you guys have just been helping inspire my confidence, my energy, give me encouragement and support. And I'm still born. Like I'm still breathing. I'm dreaming. You know, so I never thought that, especially at this age, to go from this route into particular, you know, but it's amazing. And I'm so blessed and thankful and grateful to you, you know, seeing in me and allowing me to be me and accepting me. I appreciate that so much. Like, ooh, you guys rock. You rock.
And so does that mean we're gonna have like a Black Lotus like album or like a music album?
Yes, I have two music projects. And I want to do one. I want to recite well-known pieces. Black poet. Black poet. And maybe some short stories, like maybe one or two short stories, and then like maybe 4, you know, let's put some music, and then the other one is gonna be all my stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so do you have any conversations you want to make?
Conversation points? Okay. Let's see. I would like to ask people to never give up. Is that okay? Like never give up. It's never over. Like literally, it's never over. No matter what anybody might tell you. In fact, don't listen to them. You really have to listen to your inner guide. You know what your spirit is doing, because sometimes people will project their own fear and apprehension and doubt onto you. So even if they mean well, it doesn't come out well. So you really have to be a person of like, you know what, I'm gonna work on being self-motivated. I'm gonna have my why. Mind why? Why am I doing this? Am I doing this for fulfillment? Am I doing this for money? Whatever it is, that's your occupation. Because when you start your plans to a lot of people, how should I put it? Okay, so it's like dispersing the energy to why? Because you're talking to this person, this person, this person, this person. And every time you mention something, you're losing energy off of it. So when you're talking like a bunch of people, you're dispersing the concentration. If that makes sense, you know, like you take a glass of water and you drop some food coloring in it. If there's more water than food coloring, is going to disperse, right? But that's so that's my piece to your energy. The more that you talk to everybody about your ideas, let me bounce it off to this person. Let me bounce. Listen, just come up with your idea and rock it, and don't give up. Keep going. Keep believing in yourself, having your confidence, having your strength as character. You know. That's my most important point that I would ever like to share with a person is never give up. You know, you're gonna have times when you're gonna doubt yourself. You're gonna have times when you over critique yourself. You're gonna have times when the naysayers might actually make sense. You know, you may sit there and you might remember somebody telling you something, and you're gonna say, I wonder if that person was right, but they were wrong. It's just you going through a moment. That's the second conversation point is about things not being crisis, they're moments. So some things are really a crisis. Most things are not. They're a moment, and we forget that because we're so used to having adrenaline rushes because our bodies stimulated, and so therefore, you know. We forget that we just have to focus on this moment and push through it, go to the next one. So we don't exacerbate it and make mountains out of molehills. That's my second point. And those are the two most important points. Remember that everything is not a crisis, it's a moment. And the second thing is never give up. Keep pushing through. Age doesn't define you. Your physical limitations, even if you have mental limitations or challenges, that doesn't define you. Nothing defines you but you. Your vision for you, turning inward and seeing you. You know, not even outward. Don't even look at the mirror to try to see you. Just look at you from within you. So those are the two conversations.
And so
I was gonna ask you what's going on with you. I want to know about you.
yeah, so wow. Me, I'm at this transient where I'm in between three things at one time. And so I'm, you know, paying attention, navigate, spinning the wheels. I know how to spin, and then other than that, you know, I know whose hands it's on. Yeah. And that a lot of it defines that, you know, it's about taking control of what's in my hands.
Yes.
You know, and the reason that I can do that.
Absolutely.
Making plans for everything, making plans for different things, like, you know, and it's like now I think about the thing. I always think about the thing you said about with the like with the not telling the people this thing. Now, I was in Asia, I was in Cambodia, and one time I was standing outside, I was smoking, and I was with three people. All three of them own a business, a guest house with a bar, restaurant. One owns a cafe, two of them own a guest house. And they were all talking to me about, they were all talk directly to me about what they plan on doing. Because I could imagine, I could see it, and I could say something to add to it. And I realized that wasn't my first time talking to either one of them, you know, but I happened to do all three of them, and I realized, all right, they always be telling me their plans for their business. And it's like, oh, maybe because telling me is beneficial to them in some way because I elevated at least what I believe in, you know, or, you know, giving information or respect or something. So I would notice that would happen often.
Well, that's you, that's the trusting you as wise counsel. Not everybody's wise counsel. So it's not to not talk to anybody. It's to speak to significant people. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's just not chattering and, chattering and letting the chattering go in the ear. It's about speaking to somebody that can help facilitate your movement. It's, if you hang with pigeons, you're gonna be a pigeon. That's why we say eagles hang with eagles. Eagles go up high. They have no fear of height. Pigeons ain't going up so far. You know what I'm saying? They're not going up so far. But eagles do not fear. So you have to put yourself in a place where you're with a person that wants to go up higher. And not only wants to, you're not just talking about it, but you're doing it. You want to be around people that you want to be like. So that's what I'm talking about, dispersing your energy. It's more about who you're speaking to. How many groups you're speaking to. You're speaking it out, speaking to people that have. I don't know if I want to say power, but I want to say it. Speak to powerful people. That's how you go where you're going. You're not going to speak to people that they've been in the same place for 20 and 30 years. They keep talking and they're not moving. Like, what is that? How's that gonna help you? Not even as much as you have to speak to significant people that, like you said, can see your vision. But not only to see it, but can give you tools and steps to move. I want to just talk to people just to talk. That's boring to me. Like, I gotta get something from it. It's gotta be wisdom, it's gotta be knowledge. And tools. It's gotta be something. I want to be around you. Nothing. I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be that person. Be with me with intention, significance, substance. Substance. That's all I'm saying. I mean, that's
Yeah. Feel that. Yeah, I think about that all the time. And let me see. Well, what would you what do you think is the role of a relationship in like a young person's life?
what place should it go?
Yeah.
I believe that relationship is very, and the young person's like, if they choose it, if you choose it, it's a matter of choice. If you want a relationship, first of all, you gotta be honest with yourself. Do you really want a relationship? Because sometimes we feel because we want to seem like that. Like if you tell somebody, I really don't want to, you're too picky, you're this, you're that. It never occurs to people that you actually have free will not to do that. People to do it. So honestly, I want to be. So they're trying to understand and accept the duty and responsibility that you guys are giving to it. I just an example. And I'm just using a religious example, not promoting any religion or condoning any religion. It's just a religious example. So there's a Paul in the Bible, he said that a person to serve God, it was better for them not to be married. So because the marriage relationship takes energy and time away from the worship. That makes any sense? So it's like if you're going to do anything with purity, you have to do it with holy focus. And anything that's on the side of that, it's gonna pull some of your focus. So it depends on, what the priority of the relationship is in your life. Sometimes it's number two. Because number one is your goals and dreams. And it's hard to do for some people, because nobody wants to come second to something that's seems like it's intangible. Like your vision, well, it's one thing, you got a vision, but I'm here right now. I'm here right now. Your vision may come true. I'm here right now. And if you don't agree with that, that's the problem. Because that person has a different set of needs. So how can you go force into what you're doing, knowing that maybe you're wholehearted? The love could be there, but your heart isn't there because your heart is doing something else holy. So depends on you. Every young person, you have to be honest with yourself about what it is that you want and need. And not worry about what you think about it. I mean, you know, not disregarding feelings, I'm just saying, like, because you will live a life. And the person that you're dealing with will know that you're living. Nobody will be happy. So when I was young, I'm telling you, when I was young, all I wanted to do was travel. I was thinking about a relationship, I was thinking about kids, I wasn't thinking about that. That wasn't real to me. I wanted to travel and write and meet people and wear their clothes, eat their food, sit down and talk to them in their language. I wanted to learn languages. I wanted to write the stories of the unknown. You know, the person that you would never meet in your life in a little village somewhere that has a potent and powerful and wise message to pass the world. But they can't get to a person. But here I come, I'm that person out of nowhere, and I'm coming to get your story because I think that you have the right to be heard, and I'm about to put your story on blast. That's presumptuous, isn't it? That's what I do. I wanted to record stories of life.
Wow. I like that. And let me see. So let me see. What is the
Sounds good.
and so like the parents and like how you operate, you know, pursuing your dreams and ambitions and parenting.
The hard question gives me. Digging in me, digging. Well, I'll tell you, for me, my daughter had to be the prize. So my dreams were deferred for that. Because you have to pick and choose. Sometimes, like I said, you can't disperse yourself too thinly. Because however you do that, they go all of them into something. You have to choose what you're gonna focus that energy on. If it's gonna be over here, this is gonna suffer. If it's gonna be over here, this is gonna suffer. Or should I say, I don't want to say suffer. That may be, I would say,
You might be lacking.
lacking. Yeah, you know, because you can only spread yourself so thin and still have potency. You gotta have potency. So if you're doing this over here and you're not giving it all of your potency, then you might as well be over here. You give it all of your potency over here. At least you're doing something magnificently somewhere, as opposed to mediocre everywhere. You know, I mean, like, okay, it's okay. That's okay. It's fine. Who wants to do that? You want it to be potent. So you have to focus. You have to give that. So with me, I was not able to fulfill my dreams as of yet because I made a priority. I made a choice. Gotta make a choice. And realize that it's a domino effect. It's going to affect everything. But depending on who you're with and what's going on, you never know.
Yeah, you never know, right? Let me see. So, what do you do you feel that you live in a world full of problems and issues that that are something that, you know, you have to try to fight to solve? Or do you feel like that more of a purposeful stance on that, meaning like everyone has that purpose, you know, in the greater scheme of things, you know, it's like sometimes we meet people, there's a lot of people like, you know, where they might have more of a radical approach to solving some problems, or, you know, making sure that people are aware of problems that need to be solved. And, you know, and someone needs to be that way, you know, it's like keep things in people's minds, you know.
Yeah.
Forget, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
So, the world is full of problems. Okay. So the world itself is the people that have the problems. Because we don't look at things as challenges, we always look at things as obstacles and barriers to getting our way. We don't want to go a different route. We go this route. I said I'm going through. They don't care if they're knocking their head through. Because they just have that. I'm going this way. In some ways, I feel work if you're trying to be strong to endure to get to the other side of something that you can accomplish. But sometimes you know, I'm a flexible person. I believe to fit in. You know, I get in and fit in whenever and however. I've survived mentally and emotionally by being flexible. Okay, so yeah, the world has challenges and the people have the problems. Yeah, that's how I feel about it. Yeah.
Wow. That's cool. And wow.
Yes.
So right, I think we're coming to the end of it. We usually go about 1 hour. A lot of times we get to a point where we just kind of have an open conversation. More or less, because, you know, that's a good way to go. You know, that's you know, hip hop high notes. We always keep it going on a high, and sometimes like when we think we ended it, that's where it starts over again. And you know, we're still going.
Yes, yeah. A lot of people are like, yes, it's true. No woman, no cry.
Oh, so that's how you heard it. Like, so they don't have any woman, they don't cry.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I understood the thing, you know, the representation of that triangle facing upward and triangle facing downward. And it's hard to put in terms sometimes, but I pay attention to a lot of rituals. Like, you know, as a guy, you have to set the tone, and you have to kind of get your stuff right. And, you know, if the person you choose to be with is not exactly right, you also have to make it through whatever they do to you. To try to be right on the back end of that. And so even as things change, you will be right. Now, what might happen is you might see in other relationships, a lot of examples you might see where if a guy had his stuff put together in a good way, the things that women have to go through sometimes are things that are, you know, like you said earlier, to be an obstacle. You might consider obstacles in some way. And so like, you know, a barrier, like, you know, saying like, oh, like for example, pregnancy, you can imagine what the kind of things and changes that it brings. And if things aren't set up a certain way, you know, you know, if that, you know, you won't be able to make it through it so easily. But if you make it through that easily, you know, then there's challenges after that, and there's challenges to raise a child, and there's all these things that you kind of have this ebb and flow that you have to try to master and control, like, you know, that it goes up and down, but a lot of times, you know, there's, I would say that the ebb of that flow, you know, is something that you might notice the woman might be the one to usually provide to the situation through biological things and through emotions and different things like that. So a lot of things that can cause that, the things to have to go down. So it's, you know, I think it just requires a lot of understanding to have such a relationship. Once you put those things together, you know, you can tap into what the beauty of it really is.
Well, speaking for someone, or should I just say, speaking for myself. The truth of the matter is, we love our children. The process is not easy. It is emotionally, physically, and spiritually exhausting for 9 months.
Yeah.
Because first you find out you're pregnant, so you're in shock. After you get over the shock of it, then now you have to start thinking about taking care of yourself. It's not just you anymore. You have to worry about protecting yourself so nothing harms your baby. And then the hormones are making you tired and cranky. And then you just, you know, you're craving stuff and it's weird stuff and you don't know, but you gotta have it. You know, then you're weeping because sometimes you might be afraid. You're like, okay, I'm gonna be a mother. How that going? I'm not prepared for that. Where's the book for that? I need the book. Can I go to the library and get a book out? There is no book for being a parent. It is a trial and error. It is a fall down and get back up. It is the high and the low. And that's forever. Because humans are high and low. The pregnancy takes such a toll, and it really takes a woman about a couple of years to get back on track. Because the body has to get rid of it, has to recalibrate, it has to get herself used to being a parent, having a responsibility for another life. For the rest of your life, you can never stop caring for your kids. It's a lifetime commitment. That's why I always tell people, think twice. But there's a saying that seems people that so they say, measure twice and cut once. Measure twice. Most likely, if you made an error, you could catch it before you cut. Once you cut, you can't go back. You can only go forward, you know. And with pregnancy and having a child, you can only do it. The part of you wants to go back to when you didn't have a child. You're like, oh my goodness, I'm full of anxiety. You know, I have to do this person. Make sure they don't choke. You have to make sure they eat on time. It's and you're still trying to get back to yourself while caring for another person. And then you have a partner, you got to care for their needs. And it's like, oh my goodness, I'm the monkey in the middle, being torn. Because I gotta take care of my baby. My baby needs me, but then my partner needs me too. Oh my goodness, like what? No. But then I need me too. Can't go out anymore because I have to make sure my child. And you're not resentful, but you're resentful. You are, because you used to could jump up and run, and now you can't. See, a lot of people don't talk about that because they want to put like this Disney story on life. And life is beautiful, but it is full of challenges. And we gotta be willing to embrace all of it. No, when you have a baby, the baby is a blessing, and the most wonderful, beautiful, the most important job we'll ever have is being a parent, because you're raising another human being to be in society. No job, no career is more important than that. However, it's not easy. But when you're trying to chip off the diamond to make the diamond, you know, you rubbing it, it's not easy. That's work. That's work. Your child is a diamond. And you gotta chip that thing and polish and chip and polish that human being. It's So the mother is getting her body back together, get her mind back together, she's trying to take care of baby, trying to take care of her man, and still be herself. Yeah, it's life altering. You can never be what you were before. The father, same thing, because now you got two people to take care of. So you're stressed out because you're stressed, but then you're like, damn, I only have one, now I got two. And that's the real. It's not easy on the man either. Those are the uphills. Then there's no way around those roads. You gotta stay flexible for long term. Don't put things into a box and how it's supposed to go. If you go where it goes, don't try to control everything. Control your head. Let me control mine. Because, you know, don't overdo this. It is important.
I don't know what.
But you got this, you know, you gotta think about it. You got this, and continue to understand that you do have it. And that you will make mistakes. And some people, they don't like to make mistakes, so it's really hard. And children will teach you the art of forgiveness. Because you won't be forgiving them all day long. They teach you the art of forgiveness. So, it's a beautiful thing. It's the real thing. It's also, it's okay though. Got this. Hope that baby when you're feeling some kind of way. And get that imagination back on you. Get the rainbow back on you. You know, the sparkles. You know how the baby you can literally make a little sparkles. It's sparkling inside. It's why the energy is so precious. It is a filter, they're filters, they're purity. So when you feel some kind of baby, go and you just embrace the baby. It's still little sparkles inside. Just breathe. Breathe. The next thing you know, you're gonna be like this.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting home, you know, I'm looking forward to getting home too. Seeing the baby.
That's right. You got two loved ones there. Two. They need you. They need you. They need you. Don't even talk, just hug them. Just go and lay down and hold them. Don't talk for a while. Say nothing. Just lay down, one in one arm, one in the other arm. And just your arm breathe together. After a while, you start synchronizing your breathing. Once you calm down, everybody will be like, except the baby might be breathing a little faster, babies have, but you're still gonna be in sync. Even if the baby's like, you're like, but your beginning is gonna be the baby's end. It's gonna, I don't know how to say that, but you know, it's gonna be synchronous. Just be. Just be. That's all you gotta do. That's all you gotta do. Just be. Not the be a thing. Just be. Just be. That's how you know. Didn't start yet. So I'm sorry. Like what? More? Yeah, more. But it's so exciting. A baby is a child is a lifelong project that you see manifest before your eyes, but you don't want it. But you don't want it. Then what the baby takes out of it and develops. Okay, this my daddy do that, my mommy do that, and the baby just keeps adding on to with experience. And it's an art project that never ever ends. It's the baby matures, it goes into puberty and it learns some other stuff, and it goes into teenage and learns some other stuff. And we're there to witness that from the outside. We can't just human being, just nourishing and blooming their way. Not your way. Their way. Such a gift, like that's such a blessing. And we take it for granted. That's why when the kids grow up like that, they're like, oh my goodness, I wish I could go back in time. Sometimes I feel like that. I would like to go back in time. Sometimes I think I miss good parts. But I can't. Not with my oldest. My youngest, I'm trying to enjoy all those moments because it just seemed like yesterday she was born and she's 13. I mean, people's like, boy, you don't think it does when they're a baby? It's like, oh my goodness, the baby's never gonna grow up. And next thing you know, the baby going to school and you're like, that's not the baby anymore. And the next thing you know, they're going to first grade, second grade, and the next thing you know, they're in puberty. You're like, how did that happen? 50 years ago. So let me tell you, laugh and cry at the same time. When you want to cry, you get like that, laugh. Because it's gonna keep going, but it's such an adventure. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I wouldn't give it up. I really would give my feelings. It was a good exchange. Sacrifice. I didn't lose. I just chose.
Yeah, I think that's a wrap. I'm really happy that we've been able to, be here today and yeah, that's so.
Thank you for inviting me. It's been a pleasure and an honor. I love you all. My people, try my family. I will never forget your kindness. I will never forget your support and your love and your respect. I will never forget how you stood and you're still standing because you really love and care for me as a human being. God bless you. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for this being you, and being there. Appreciate you both so much. Y'all my people, don't make me cry. Here's my glasses back up. This deep now. I can't go back to deep. Excuse me for the minutes. And the incident. It was brutal.
Yeah, it's a good feeling, be here. I really am happy that you were able to connect with me. Ever since we first met, we just always had a good vibe and always felt a good, very good energy, very good spirit energy. And I saw how infectious it is on the other people, other young people.
Yes, it is gonna be affecting you. He meant that in a good way. He meant that in a good way.
Yeah, so my name is Stanford Reed, and this has been Hip Hop High Notes coming to you from the High Note Cafe in historic Lower East Side, New York City. It's been my Lotus, Black Lotus Soul Survivor. Thank you so much, everybody. Y'all have a beautiful day. That was great.
Thank you. Oh, that was so fun. That was so enjoyable. Thank you so much. That was so easy.